Hello there, internet. So I apologize if I appear at all sleep deprived because today is Saturday, the 16th of February. Yesterday we got the big grand kiss. It was iconic. It was everything that I wanted, except it was kind of dark as fuck, so I could barely see anything. But what I did see, I cannot express to you how happy I am that they did not copy the fucking underwater kiss from Isak and Evan, because I love the underwater kiss from Isak and Evan, but I like that Eliott and Lucas have their own iconic kiss that's different and it's memorable in its own way and it fits the characters so well, and it's just, oh my goodness, yeah, so I stayed up late kind of watching and rewatching that and listening to the music from that scene. That music, I love that song now. I then went to bed, woke up just past 1 a.m., saw that there was that morning after cuddle / sex scene. So I watched that a few times and yeah, did not get a very good night's sleep as a result of that, but it's okay because it's the weekend, so, you know. We are getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. We are gonna talk about episode 4. We had quite a week, to be honest. We had quite a week. Okay, for one, this dude Eliott only shows up to school once a week. What's up with that? Like, I know what's up with that, but still, it's a little frustrating. He sends a text on Saturday saying that he'll see Lucas on Monday, and then he doesn't see him on Monday, but he gets another text agreeing to meet up with him on Wednesday to do the mural. And I feel like everybody in the fandom was expecting this, but then what we got instead was that. Baby, no. No. Mika is kind of an asshole, so I kind of spoke too soon when I said that I would like all of the S guilds, but it's okay because as long as Lucas finds somebody else to be his guru, I'm okay with not like loving Mika. And I think that Alexia, I've seen so many comments saying like she needs to be the new guru. I love that idea. Yes, that needs to happen. I like that the whole foyer thing is relevant to the plot. The girls are more relevant to the plot. Can I just say, I love that Daphne goes straight from, we have to get all of the other students interested in the foyer, and then as soon as Lucas develops an interest, she's like, what the fuck is going on? Is this bitch trying to replace me? And it's just so nice to see Meno. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing her name. Meno? I like seeing her as part of the girl squad, and I like seeing all of the girls like wanting to be around her, being excited that she's back. I have a lot of thoughts about that conversation that Lucas and Imane had. I mentioned before in other videos that I watched season 3 of original Skam as it was airing, so I saw this clip from the original when it originally dropped, and it was not received well at all. People were hating on Sana left and right, and I was like, I just feel like one of the great advantages to storytelling in general is the ability to form empathy towards people who are not you. You get to understand them better than you would have had you not like learned about their point of view. But I think that we need to exercise developing that empathy, trying to understand where people are coming from, not just when it's the main character and we know and love the main character well, but we should also try to develop that when it comes to characters who we don't know as well. We're not in their head. They do not know what we, the audience, know about the main character. So Imane and Sana had no way of knowing why Lucas and Isak were asking these questions about religion, those questions came off as really hostile. It wasn't like, I don't know much about your religion, I'm really interested in learning about your opinion on homosexuality. At least with Isak, the way he approached it was like, you're too smart for religion. Why don't you just leave it behind? It's the 21st century. What the hell? It bothers me that people don't see how that's super condescending. So of course, Sana was then on the defense, and she said some things that I think she never would have said had she known that Isak was gay. But I think that what she was trying to say was that science was imperfect. They don't have all of the answers either. She did make that point in a very unintentionally hurtful way, considering where Isak was coming from, but that's the point that she was making. And the same with Imane. When Imane pointed out how in the 50s, scientists were the ones who were very bigoted towards homosexuals. It was going towards that point of, it's not just religion that's used as a tool of oppressing marginalized people. People have used and abused science in exactly the same way. Exactly the same way. And I think that it's important to acknowledge that. So my opinion on the whole science versus religion thing, I'm not going to say Islam because I can't speak to Islam, but I can speak to Christianity, which I grew up being taught, and which is very similar to Islam. Within that mindset, there's this idea that a God understands everything and you like understand nothing. Proverbs 3:5, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Your own curiosity and your own understanding and finding evidence that pales in comparison to what God says. And what God says is like the ultimate truth, and there's no arguing against that. And what I feel is the great strength of science is, yes, it has been used improperly in the past, and people have continued and will continue to use science improperly. But the great thing about science is that it's not like this dogmatic, you have to believe this despite what any other evidence says. No, sometimes what we think is the correct answer is not, because we find out later that, oh, there's all this other evidence that we didn't know about before, and that evidence disproves what we thought was true before. But I think that in order for science to work its magic like that, you have to be open-minded to the possibility that what you believe about the world could be wrong. And when you come across people who think differently from you, it's so important to have an exchange of ideas with humility and not with arrogance and not with the assumption that you're automatically right. You need to be open to the idea that there might be validity in some other way of thought that you might not have considered. And the way that Lucas and Isak kind of carried forth that conversation, it was not with that same open-mindedness and curiosity. It was more with judgment and condescension. But again, I do feel for Lucas and Isak, because that's like the last thing that they need to hear at this point in their lives. So I can understand the main character. I can understand completely where they're coming from. But I think it's so important to understand that Imane/Sana did not know and had no way of knowing where Lucas and Isak were coming from. So in that same vein of like not always siding with the main character and trying to understand other points of view from other characters, Chloe. Okay, so Chloe wanted to set up a date with Lucas, and he like kind of shot down her ideas without suggesting anything in return. It did not seem as enthusiastic as she was about going on their first real date. I'm glad that she picked up on that, and she in no way, shape, or form pressured him. She gave him a way out. She told him that when he's interested, come to her. And that reminded me so much of episode 7 of original Skam, when the guys were all coaching Isak on how to talk to Evan because Evan was giving him mixed signals. And like, that's how you respond when somebody gives you mixed signals. You call them out on it, but take a step back and allow them to come to you if they choose you. I wish, not just for Lucas' sake, but more so for Chloe's sake, that he had taken that route out. I mean, you have to feel bad for her because I'm sure she does have legitimate feelings for him. He's a cute guy, he's charming, he came on to her, he pursued her. Even when he gave her very mixed signals, made her think that he wasn't interested by not going to her party or not like wanting to go on the date. He would then follow that up by showing, oh yes, I'm very, very interested. And it was all performative and it's all a big lie. And I mean, you have to feel sorry for her and you have to like look within the context of, yes, they've only known each other for like 3 to 4 weeks, but that's about as long as Luca and Eliott have known each other. And if you can believe that Luca and Eliott have developed like real and substantial feelings in that time, then surely you can understand that Chloe has also developed those feelings. And it just bothers me when I see people so quick to dump on her for like, she's the female obstacle, therefore I have to hate her. Oh, she said something slightly problematic, but Lucas said many things that were super problematic, therefore I hate her. Even the whole double date thing, people are saying, oh, I don't like how she just invited herself on that double date. And I'm like, what the fuck? Luca invited her on a date, just him and her. But then Eliott appears and it's clear that he's had a hard time. It's clear that he wants to see Luca, and Chloe picks up on that. She probably remembers what Luca said earlier in the episode about not wanting to bail on his friends just because he got a new girlfriend, and she accommodates for that and she offers to like bring him along on the date. That's her being kind and gracious, my girl. I just feel like she's done nothing to deserve people saying, I can't bring myself to feel sorry for her because she just annoys me for some reason. It's like, just admit that it doesn't matter what the hell her personality is. It doesn't matter what she says or does. You're gonna hate her just because Luca went after her. And he went after her. She never forced herself on him. But anyway, going with that, I really like how French Skam, I feel like the writers, they're not trying to make you hate her. They're not trying to make you disregard her feelings. Her feelings are validated within the show. She's not written as a caricature. Annoyed with some of the fandom, but I'm happy with the writing so far. Yeah, so we are going to talk about the kiss. What do I have to say? Like, the way that they would stop and start the music when the light would go on and off, and then when Eliott would turn his light off and would become one with the darkness, and he would like fucking teleport to another area without Luca seeing any shadows at all, or without us being able to hear him. And then he teleports outside and he's like soaked wet as if he's been outside for like 10 minutes in the rain. But you know, I was into it. It's poetic cinema. Can we just talk about how smiley Luca was when he was with Eliott? And the mood kept on changing whenever Eliott would turn off the light, and it went from being playful to being scared to being playful again to being scared to being very serious, looking at your crush up and down, up and down. The kiss with the hands basically saying, yes, Eliott, I Googled your ass. I know about your Polaris project. And they both went for it. They weren't interrupted. Like, it just kept on going, and it ended with a hug. How could I forget that? What was your favorite part about the kiss? I really liked that tease that they had in the, what's it called? Overpass. But I'm glad that their first kiss didn't happen there because I couldn't see shit. I was watching on my phone. I'm like, I can't see anything. I'll watch it on my computer when I get home, but like, it was better on my computer, but I still there wasn't a lot that I could see, but what I could see was dynamite. And they made up for like the lack of lighting with the big kiss scene with the scene in episode 5. And I'm just, I'm quite excited. I'm happy for Luca. Of course, I feel bad for the girls. They definitely deserve better, and they were getting along great. So, you know, Lucille and Chloe, on one hand, I definitely understand Eliott's point of view. He wanted to be alone with Luca, but he needs to break up with his girlfriend first. And I definitely understand his frustration with his girlfriend, because I also failed a grade in school. Fun fact about me, I don't talk about that much. And I hated when other people would out me about that. Like, I'd be in a different context with people who didn't know, and then somebody else would just mention it, and I could just see them judge me differently because of it. And I fucking hated that. Like, that was my choice to tell. And if I wanted to keep quiet about that, I should. And the thing with the beers, I like that comment that Eliott made about how I can count and this is just my second. He had just opened his second. So yeah, that did come across as overbearing, but I understand her point of view. I've addressed Chloe. I'll also address this criticism that I saw on Tumblr, and I've seen several people say this, and that they don't think that Luca and Eliott were ready for the big kiss at the end of the episode. Luca overcomplicated things by involving Chloe. Now I will say that, like, obviously that was a bad decision, but in terms of storytelling, I feel like that's where the character was at. I feel like he was in that mindset to try to be straight. The show is called Skam, which means shame, and all of the characters do something that they're ashamed of. It's because of their fears, because of their behaviors, because of their flawed attitudes, and in order for them to develop and grow, they then have to confront those flawed attitudes, their flawed behaviors, and their fears in order to become a better person who then treats people better and who doesn't overcomplicate things in the way that they did before. As for the kiss, I personally really like it with romance when they don't like drag the whole will they won't they thing out until like the last 5 minutes of the show or movie. And that's like after everything has been resolved, everything under the sun that you can think of, everything with their relationship, with the characters as individuals, they've resolved all of their problems, then they kiss, they walk off into the sunset and live happily ever after, and you don't get to really see what happens with the relationship after. Since Eliott and Luca are so forward with each other, and since they're very much attracted to each other, and since they don't beat around the bush, they would want to kiss now. And it's okay that they kissed during unideal circumstances, and soon shit will hit the fan and it will be very sad, but through that sadness there will be growth and strength, and the characters will be better than they were right now, even though right now they're happy, but after all the shit, they'll be happy again. I feel like really good conflict should be rewarding, you know, and not just like pointless and frustrating, like with season 4 of Original Skam, where Yusuf and Sana didn't talk for 4 fucking episodes. I'm still mad about that. French Skam, since you guys stepped up with season 3 of Skam, I hope to God that you're able to give us a season 4 that we deserve. I'm rooting for you. I really like that with Skam, we get to see what happens with the couples after they get together, even if things are soon not gonna be super awesome. But hey, if I'm looking forward to anything, it's some guru advising, hopefully from one of the girls, and Luca better fuck up Basile. I do not care that Luca did not go to Basile's birthday party. Episode 3, he says, "Oh, I just want sex. I support the Me Too movement," but it's very clear that he does not give a shit about boundaries. His desire to have sex matters more than like whether he's making people uncomfortable or not. I mean, this line right here.
Putain, mais t'es plus que sur la bonne voie avec elle en fait.
Cette fille, plus elle me fout des vents, plus je la kiffe.
And this behavior right here.
Prêt pour l'infiltration?
Moi, je veux bien t'infiltrer.
We heard from Daphne she was like the only single person in the group, and I hope that she doesn't feel so bad that she goes to the first guy who gives her positive, not even positive attention, who's like giving her any attention, because she could do so much better than that fucking guy Vasil. I just throw him in the garbage, please. But we're done talking about that. We're done talking about this guy. So I think that that's everything that I wanted to say for this episode. I'm sure that I'll remember after I finish recording, like, oh, I forgot something. But yeah, this is what I've wanted to say. I am not gonna make a video like this next week, because next week is not a 3-day weekend and I have plans, and I apparently don't know how to make videos that are under 20 minutes long, and these videos take way too long to edit, and yeah, I can't bring myself to do it. It's not sustainable for me. So yeah, I don't know when I'll next make a video like this, but I hope you enjoyed this one. Tell me what you thought of the episode.